condensation forms on the glass window. And the little girl begins to trace her finger along, drawing symbols in her mind. Outside, it is dusk. The sun is just falling over the horizon, and the world is filled with a deep red, except for where the clouds are purple. There is a well in the center of this small hamlet. And there, in the well, we can see eyes staring out towards the falling sun. And strained fingers gripping the edge slowly pull themselves up. It is a woman. She is wearing rags at best. There is a collar about her neck with a bell that tinkles ever so slightly. One of her shaking hands grasps it as it cling. She stares fearfully off to the falling sun and to the horizon beyond, searching for something. But she can't seem to find it, and she at last pulls herself out from beyond the well. The little girl in the window, her eyes are drawn to the woman, and she watches as she creeps through the dusk of the hamlet. It is a quiet night, and no one else is out on the street except for the woman. And she moves off towards a barn, a red barn with straw spilling out of it. And she moves into it, the little girl's vision now obscured, her curiosity slowly waning. She begins to return to her drawing. The woman creeps through the barn and up a ladder into a loft. And there by a window is a crib, handmade, roughly hewn. And she peers over the edge, and there's a small child and a baby boy. Bits of a single lock of curly brown hair napped over the side of his head. His sleep is undisturbed. She just stares at the child for a long while, a tear running down her grubby face. And she reaches down and scoops him up gently, like he was the most precious thing in the world, so fragile. And then she moves down the loft, carefully down the ladder, and back outside of the barn. She stares off the night and moves hurriedly. But the little girl wasn't the only one to have noticed the woman and her movements. We can see in a shadow within the tree the shape of a man. He is crouched there on a large branch, and his eyes, they follow the woman as she moves along. A crossbow in hand. He aims at her, and then a little in front, and the bolt flies through the air and whistles right into her calf, and rips through the flesh. She cries out just barely and sort of silences herself and stumbles forward. She falls, holding the babe tightly to her chest and catching herself with her wrist. It is filled with gravel and debris and cuts now, but she scrabbles back to her feet and begins hobbling along, her eyes traveling up to the darkness where the bolt had come from. The man is moving down from the tree now, slowly. He watches as she hobbles off into the wilderness, and he reaches down, seems to pull something from his bag, a bit of tinder. He places it on the ground, and then some powder which he lightly dusts upon it, and then a flint. He lights it on fire, and gray smoke travels up into the sky and moves through the red sky, and the sun has just barely gone over the horizon now, but still illuminates the smoke as it rises up over the trees. The woman still stumbles through the woods, the babe clutched close to her beating heart. She can hear in the night the droning of the insects. She moves as fast as her tired, her wounded body will carry her. And then it stops. The droning stops, and the night is filled with a quiet. And she stops. Her breath, the only sound we can hear until... Ooh! Ooh! She can hear the sound echoing from around her. And out of the darkness of the woods, forms come out. They have the faces of dogs or wolves, perhaps, but the bodies of men. They move with a secure gait. This is their home. One of them threatens at the woman. She clutches the babe closer to her. No! No! She says, please, please. She lowers him onto the ground. Don't take him. Don't take him. And one of the creatures rushes forward towards her, grabs her arm and begins shaking her, tosses her onto the ground. No! No! She screams. The creature smacks her, and she blacks out, and all is darkness. She comes to, and the first thing she senses is the smell of a fire burning nearby, hickory wood. And then she can hear the dum, 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 dum of a drum. And she is afraid to, but she opens her eyes. She could see the flickering of a fire in front of her, and she feels the restraints. She is tied down, and she can see the shapes of the wolf men creatures as they circle around the fire, just around the edge. And there stands a woman, her hair tussled, a bone through her nose. Why have you come here to our home? Were you seeking safety, girl? The woman, she cries. She could feel the throbbing pain in her leg and the throbbing pain in her torn arm. I had to get him away. I had to get him away. I don't care what you do to me. I don't care. Please, though, save him. Save him. We save only the strong. We save only those who have purpose, not weaklings destined to die. And her gaze travels to the babe in a basket on a rock near the raging fire. Shall I put him in? The woman asks, a sickening grin moving across her face. No! The woman says, no! Please! I'll do anything. Anything. Will you die for him? Will you eat his flesh? If I told you to, I don't think you'll do anything. No. But will you suffer for him? I will. Then perhaps the boy has some of your strength. Perhaps he will survive the night. The woman reaches down, she picks up the babe and holds him over the fire. And the wolves, they bark around the circle. And the woman, she exhales and opens her eyes, and the crone is standing before her with the babe. Name him, she says. I call him Kartik.